Stealing focus!
Hi, everybody! Hacha! Whoopee! Fosse! Verdon!
Who's got the pain when they do the mambo? Who's got the pain when they go ERRRP? Who's got the pain when they do the mambo? I don't know who. Do you?
We're back for episode 2 of Fosse Verdon.
Yes.
And this is a very exciting episode. Gotta tell it down. This is the episode where we start to see some of the Verdon Fosse backstory.
The backstory.
How they met, which is very exciting because we were talking last week about how we felt like we were kind of just like thrown into the deep end with this show.
Now we're getting it.
Now we're getting it. It's still... God, if you're not a musical theater person, you're not gonna love this show. Like they really, and I kind of love that. It's not like when they did Glee, like dumbing it down for the normies thing.
Like if you're a musical theater fan, you're gonna.
It's a musical
you're gonna
theater.
Love it.
It's a musical theater thing. So. The first episode was bookended with Bob Fosse about to get his award, I think, at the Kennedy Center, like right before he died. So this episode 2, is bookended with basically his big breakup with Gwen Verdon. She kind of hit the wall. I think when he started to, I could be wrong, but I think it was around when he started to get with Anne Reinking.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm done. But it could be...
The translator?
I think, no, you're right. Because he said it was the translator. You're right, and, because of the gorilla suit. So they've been foreshadowing her showing up with the gorilla suit that she got from New York to bring, so you're right, to bring to Cabaret.
Yes.
And he's into the translator girl. And so that's what they're bookending the episode with. And then they're flashing back to Damn Yankees.
Yes.
When they first stared working together.
When they first started connecting.
And it's pretty neat. So first of all, I didn't realize this, but Evan Handler, who is Harry from Sex and the City, I did not realize he was playing Hal Prince.
Harry Goldenblatt.
He's playing Hal Prince. But it's fun because this is before Hal Prince kind of defined his look, bald with the glasses. So Evan Handler has like a full-on hairpiece and everything.
So interesting.
It's very interesting. So there's this scene where he's trying to pitch Bob Fosse to Gwen Verdon, and she really wants Jerome Robbins. She's like, couldn't we get Jerry? And, she had this one line where she says, oh, yes, I've heard of him. He's the one with the hat.
Yes.
I thought it was very cute.
Yes. And then she thinks she's auditioning.
Yeah. And they had their first scene together. And that was a lot of fun because they kind of, he's kind of teaching her choreography to whatever Lola wants. And they kind of touch on all these things that... that define Fosse. Like he says slouch, and she's like, I don't think I've ever heard a choreographer say that before.
Yeah.
And she's like, what, I just stand here frozen and I don't do anything?
Yeah.
And he's like, what's sexier than standing still?
Right.
And then they get into the fact that they both started in burlesque, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
Because they did. She was just like him.
She's like, I was 14. And he's like, well, I started when I was 13.
Yeah, so they grew up very fast, and they kind of understood the idea of making Broadway a little dirtier, a little sexier, which is a lot of fun. So when Damn Yankees happened, Bob Fosse had only choreographed one show, which was the Pajama Game. And so he was very untested. So, but the Pajama Game was written by the same guys who wrote Damn Yankees, Adler and Ross. And so they liked him, and so they brought him on board. So last time we talked about, I mentioned Joan McCracken, and this week I was really excited that they brought her in.
There's a lot of Cracken.
Oh my God, Joan McCracken is such a tragic figure in so many ways. I don't know if the girl they got looks like her,
She's
but she's not bad. She's not bad at all. But Joan McCracken was really tragic because she was very sick. She had diabetes, and she was very frail and unhealthy. And they do a scene where where Fosse's trying to explain to Gwen, like, I can't leave her. Like, what am I going to do? Like, they're not going to hire this woman if they know she's sick. Yeah. So it was a really tricky situation to be in. But Joan, just like a lot of the women in his life, kind of got it. She was a little older than him. She kind of got what his shit was. like, so there's this great scene with her and Gwen Verdon in the bathroom, which I thought was very effective.
Yeah.
More notes. We can cut this out. It's okay.
For sure.
Okay, so again, I have to bring up the fact that they definitely used this book as a reference, Fosse by Sam Wasson, because there's a scene that there are a few scenes that they've pulled directly from the text, but in this episode, the one where he's eavesdropping through the wall.
Oh, yeah, and then he's like, I heard everything.
Yeah, like Fosse was so fucking up his own ass. Like he was listening in the wall, listening to Hal Prince and George Abbott, who was the director, and Hal Prince was the producer, talking about the stuff they needed to cut, and Fosse takes it all personal, and he's like calling them, and he's like, I heard what you guys said. And Hal Prince is like, man, it's not working. We have to come up with something. But that was the kind of shit he pulled all the time.
But then they needed a fun number because they wanted it to be a musical.
So they found Who's Got the Pain.
When they do the mambo, we do.
ERRRP.
Yeah.
And that was super cute. That is such a fun song. Fun fact, in the movie version, which I'm sure they're going to get to, but in the movie version of Damn Yankees, Gwen Verdon plays Lola, and Bob Fosse actually plays her dance partner in that scene. So that's the only scene ever in the history of anything.
Together.
Yeah, it's the only thing Bob Fosse and Gwen Verdon ever filmed together. So if you want to see it, I'm sure you could. So it was really cute. I thought that God, again, we have to go off on how amazing Michelle Williams is.
So good.
She embodies her Gwen Verdon so much. The way she like does this thing with putting her hands on her hips like that.
She has her physicality down, her vocal quality.
Yeah, and then so they do Who's Got the Pain, and I'm 90% sure they dubbed over Michelle Williams. Obviously not because she can't sing, because she could sing.
She can definitely sing.
But I don't think she sounds like Gwen Verdon.
No.
So in that sequence, it's like, I don't think it's the original Gwen Verdon. I think it's a sound-alike.
Yeah, it's someone that they hired for sure.
Yeah. But she's got the choreography down. She's so fun and lively, and she and Sam Rockwell have good chemistry, I feel. Just like they should have.
Yeah.
Because she spoke his language, obviously.
Yeah, you need to have that tightness.
Yeah. So it's fun to see, Who's Got the Pain. They sang some Heart. Nice to hear a little Heart from Damn Yankees.
Cute. It was very cute.
They tied it into kind of what was going on, so I really enjoyed that. So there are a few things that I thought were really neat in this episode. The very beginning, they're doing this thing where Gwen Verdon's BFF is Joan Simon.
Yes.
Neil Simon's wife. And the episode starts with her telling this story to Gwen Verdon about how, Joan Simon was more recognized at an event.
Yes.
And how Neil was.
Yeah,
and Neil got all butthurt. And it's like, this has been the subject of like so many works of art. A Star is Born, Annie, Get Your Gun. So many works of art are just about
men don't want to be in the background.
Protecting these fragile male egos from the women who they're supposed to love, but they're all butthurt that they're more successful than they are.
Yeah.
Which is the incredible irony, because more people know who Bob Fosse is nowadays than Gwen Verdon, which is a travesty, because I'm glad this went. Yeah, I'm glad this series is happening, because
people are gonna look her up now.
Need to know her.
Yeah.
But so that was a neat moment, and then there's a monologue that Joan McCracken was giving to Gwen Verdon in the bathroom, and Joan was saying how she got Bob Fosse his first job as a choreographer. He never thanked her. And then she said something to Gwen like, I don't remember what it was, but it was something like, I'm sure you'll find out, or it's your problem now, or something.
It's passing the torch.
Yeah, and it's true. Like, he was kind of only as good as the women he had around him.
Yes.
Like, they inspired him so much, and he needed women around him all the time to just get him to do anything.
So many great artists are that way. I mean,
God.
like Arthur Miller, very much so, which we know about. Like, he pulled from the women in his life, which Fosse is doing as well. Like, you have to have that chaotic
It's like he loved women, but then was also making up for the fact that he was sexually abused by like old strippers, so he like had to prove something to them. It's so fascinating. And again, if you read this biography, like there's just as many women who didn't sleep with him as did, because he hit on everyone. And one of his things was like with his girlfriends, like people like Anne Reinking had to know that like he could have as many girlfriends as he wanted, but she couldn't have any. Like a king. You know, and they touch on this a little bit in this episode, and he's like, leave your husband or leave your boyfriend. She's like, you leave Joan, and he's like,
he wanted his harem of talented dancers.
I mean,
to isolate all over that penis.
He was a very giving lover, apparently. Does not forgive any of it. No. So, I liked this episode.
I did too. It was very enjoyable. I liked it more than the first.
I think I did too. I liked kind of going back. It's weird because, you know, there was a moment when Gwen is kind of looking around and they're about to break up on the beach in Mallorca, and she's flashing back to all these moments she had with him. But we're 2 episodes in, so all we have is like 1 episode.
It was also very much, this is the greatest showman.
Oh yeah, it was like the beach scene from The Greatest Showman, which also had Michelle Williams in it. But in this one, she left him, rightfully so. Yes. Who's got the pain when they do the mambo? Apparently Gwen Verdon does.
Who's got the pain when she goes,
So we'll be back for episode 3. We'll see you then.
Yes.
ERRRP.